I was asked recently by someone about the abuse I suffered as a child and how it made me feel now. It's a very difficult question to answer. There is no stock answer to this. Something happened to me. It started when I was 8 and carried on until I was 13, 14 years old. It was a fear, a sort of paralysing fear that my abuser had planted in my head. He convinced me that all the problems, all the abuse, it was all my fault. I'd brought it on myself. I believed him. I was a child. The worst thing he did was tell me that if I was to speak up, I would end up in children's prison and my parents would also go to prison. My God. I mean, I was 8 years old, man, and I was being confronted with all this crap. Being used, just being used as an object for sex. That's all it did. It just used and abused me, chipping away at my trust in anybody and pushing me further into myself until the only time I was at peace was when I was alone with nobody. It's taken me a lot of years to speak about the abuse I went through. I am now 51 and still today, if I see something or a certain smell, a certain look in someone's face, it catapults me back to that dreadful night when I was 8. That dreadful night when I was 8 that stole the innocence, that stole trust, that planted seeds of disruption, addiction, self-harming, attempted suicides, more than one. But on the other hand, I see myself now as somebody who went through it, came out the other side, damaged, so damaged psychologically. It makes it almost impossible to form relationships, because the minute somebody gets too close, I feel I have to push them away, because I can't let anybody in my head, I can't let anybody in my thoughts, because if I was to do this, I would lose control over my being. And of course, I have no control over my being at the moment. Abused at 8. At 51, still find it difficult to talk about. Still have mental problems. Diagnosed bipolar, borderline personality disorder, PTSD. I mean, come on, wake up. That was what started it all off. The abuse, I hate that word as well. The rape of a child can never, ever, ever be justified. Never. 51 years. 8 of those years were lived in a sort of blissful happiness until that night when I was 8 and he came and stole my innocence, stole my future, stole my confidence. That is why I will one day get retribution. And it has nothing to do with revenge, because if I wanted revenge I could have done it already. It has to do with justice. The justice that I never received. Justice that even if I was to tell would be so feeble and weak, they'd probably end up taking more care of him than they do of me. I just had to get this off my chest and try and explain that if a child is abused, we have to change society that makes the child not ashamed to say what has happened, because it's not his fault. It's like somebody comes into your house and steals everything, but you don't go to the police because you think, oh well, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, believe me. Child abuse is just a disgusting crime. Child rape, forced sodomy, forced all kinds of disgusting acts just to make the adult feel powerful. I have long since come to the conclusion that my abuser was lacking in self-worth and thought that by abusing a child it gave him some sort of power. Well, it maybe did then, but the power has shifted back to me. Beware, because I am here and I am coming after you.